There's something magical about pulling a golden, aromatic loaf of bread out of your own oven. The warm crust, the soft crumb, the smell that fills the kitchen, it's like being wrapped in a hug from the inside out. If you've ever felt intimidated by baking, let this be your moment. Because making bread doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, your first loaf can be simple, fun, and deeply satisfying. Let's start with a basic truth. Bread is one of the oldest and most beloved foods in human history. From ancient Egypt to your modern countertop, the process has stayed remarkably the same: flour, water, yeast, salt, thyme, and love. It's the kind of recipe that connects us to tradition while also inviting creativity. For this beginner-friendly recipe, you'll need just a few pantry staples. 500 grams, about 3½ cups, of all-purpose flour. 300 milliliters, about 1¼ cups, of warm water. 7 grams, 1 packet, of instant dry yeast. 10 grams, 1½ teaspoon, of salt. 1 tablespoon of olive oil, optional, for flavor and crust. This quantity makes 1 medium loaf, perfect for 4 to 6 people. Now, let's walk through the process. In a large mixing bowl, combine the flour and salt. In a separate bowl, dissolve the yeast in warm water. Let it sit for 5 minutes until it bubbles a little. That's your yeast telling you it's alive and ready to rise. Pour the yeast water into the flour mixture and stir with a wooden spoon or your hands until it forms a shaggy dough. Kneading is where the magic begins. On a clean, floured surface, knead the dough for about 10 minutes until it becomes smooth and elastic. This step develops the gluten structure, which gives the bread its chew and structure. If you've never kneaded dough before, don't worry, it's more relaxing than you think. Like giving your worries a good punch. Place the dough in a lightly oiled bowl, cover it with a clean kitchen towel, and let it rise in a warm spot for 1 to 2 hours, or until doubled in size. Patience here is essential. While it rises, something invisible but powerful is happening: fermentation. It's where the flavor develops. Once risen, punch the dough down gently and shape it into a loaf. Place it on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper or into a lightly oiled loaf pan. Cover again and let it rise for another 30 to 45 minutes. Preheat your oven to 220 degrees Celsius, 430 degrees Fahrenheit. Just before baking, you can score the top with a sharp knife for a rustic finish. Bake for 25 to 30 minutes or until the crust is golden and the loaf sounds hollow when tapped underneath. Let it cool, at least a little, before slicing. Yes, the aroma will tempt you, but that short rest helps the crumb settle, so it doesn't turn gummy. Then, enjoy it with butter, jam, or olive oil. Or just eat it plain, because when you've baked it yourself, every bite tastes like victory. Making your first loaf is not just about feeding yourself, it's about creating something from nothing. And once you do it, you'll wonder why you didn't try it sooner. What's your biggest challenge or most satisfying moment when baking your own bread?